Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to try and get a few pieces of plasterboard on the ceiling above the hallway, not above the steps. Because we said in the previous video that we're still trying to figure out a more structurally framework to support plasterboard and the chandelier and insulation, things like that, in the slope area above the staircase. So because all the battens are done in the other side of the hallway where the aircon unit is, we can get some slabs up and see how it goes. So we're going to get as much as we can and yeah, hope for the best. So we've got the plasterboard out the last room of the summer house, the one that hasn't been demolished yet. So we've only got 4 sheets left, but we think we could be able to do the hallway, including the staircase, with only the 3 and maybe a few offcuts or a bit of the 4th one. So I've dragged them in, and when you get these from the Practica or Practice, there's 2 sizes. The thicker plasterboard, which I think is 10mm, is usually used for walls and partitions, stud walls, things like that, but they're really heavy, especially for the full sheet. So for ceilings, it's recommended to use like the 5mm ones, purely because it helps holding them up and it doesn't pop the screws with the weight. So we're actually going to cut these long ways so it's easier for us to carry up the ladder, so I can be holding one half and screwing it whilst Nish holds up the other half to stop it snapping with like a stick or something like that. So that's the plan. Let's see how we get on.
Watch those with your fingers. Good job.
Okay, so now we've got 80% of the plasterboard on the ceiling. You can see we had a bit of struggle with the left side and the right side lining it up to be square. Although the boards were cut square, we had trouble with the parallelness of the 2 walls, but we did our best and the gaps are okay. And you can see where the 2 ends didn't meet at the top there, but that's no problem. And we've got a little bit of a triangular dink in the wall up there. Yeah, excusing the footprints, it actually looks pretty good. So the next stage of this part of the ceiling is we've got some of this mesh tape. I don't really know what it's called, but it's to go over the jointing tape. So got some plasterboard adhesive still left. We're going to put some of that on the board first, put the tape on, and then do a more spread over again. And we'll be able to just, because it's 50mm wide, oh, I almost fell down the stairs then. We'll be able to just do it on the corners and all the seams as well. And we ended up putting an extra batten above that side and that side to stop the plasterboard sagging and to keep the plumbness, the levelness of the aircon unit. So looking pretty good, and now it's just on to the next stage. Okay, so I've just taped and filled all the seams, and it's looking alright. It's just about to go off. I'm leaving the edges till last, but managed to get quite far over the aircon unit, and especially on that left side all the way to the wall. So let it go off a bit, give it a little light sand, managed to lock in that little triangle wedge, so once that goes white you won't be able to tell there was a little extra piece there. So I'm pretty happy with it so far, and just a little bit of roughing around the edges up there, but I'm pretty happy with it. So a little sand, and then should be able to fill the rest of the screws and then paint it. So now the sides have been done. Looking okay, to be honest. But I'll probably, once it's all painted up and I'm ready for my wet sanding, like it's almost 90% gone off now because of how hot the ceiling is. So really damp cloth, just to really wring it out. Because you don't really want to get plasterboard that wet.
Damp pink cloth.
Yeah, I wrung it out, you don't want it dripping wet.
It's just a little wet sand.
Yeah. Might be able to get rid of these footprints off the ceiling. There we go. So now that it's been wet sanded and there's no ridges in the seams, it's time to get painting. So that's the first coat on the ceiling complete, and the next stage of attack is to go on a batten hunt around the property, see what offcuts I've got, finalise a design for a framework to be structurally sound for the plasterboard like I mentioned in the previous video. We've still got 3/4 of a sheet here and one more full sheet of plasterboard in the old tool room of the summer house, so we'll easily get that done. But coming up soon, we also need to sort out this side, and obviously you saw what we did, the 3 concrete lintels. We want to bring the plasterboard up and around, which will give us a square edge to finish the render and paint the inner sides of the 2 columns. We've got the electrical switch to sort out, all the electrics to sort out, and it might end up being a bit of mixed with panels of board and a bit of lime plaster for that top rough area and a plasterboard top underneath. So this is what it's looking like now, which I think is pretty good. So stay tuned on the channel, hit that bell and subscribe if you want to see what we end up doing with that corner on the other side of the lintel. And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Ciao for now.